Well, we're in live.
We're live on the Musicto Facebook page. Hello, everybody. My name's Andrew, but the most important person we have here tonight is Senor Matt Jenko.
Mr. Maddie's here.
So, Matt, how are you? How is your day been?
Well, I mean, we've been caught in the beast from the east. I mean, I don't know how you're experiencing it up in Scotland, but down here, everyone's been panicking because there's been about that much snow, and you know what people are like. The further south you go, the scared people get.
I was, at one point in time, I was commuting into the West End of London, and I lived in this house, in Buckinghamshire. And they cancelled the trains, and it was that classic day. I think it was like the late 90s. It was the wrong kind of leaves. Brilliant.
Yeah, so we've had that today.
It's crazy up here in Scotland. There's snow everywhere. It's a blizzard, but I don't care because I knew it was coming. So I went to the store. We have all the wine, all the vodka, and all the food. And really, what else do you need?
There's nothing else you really need. So you can hunker down and just, get on with let the storm pass. There's a saying, isn't there? Isn't there like a thing that people say, like, let's weather the storm. You can weather the storm. You
can if you have good music, which is one of the main reasons that we're here this evening, is to shoot the shit over music.
Yeah.
So let's just do a little, the reason we're here is that Matt is one of our amazing Musicto curators. Matt curates, they're all one of my favorite lists. I really do like this list. It's the Music to Save the World list.
Yeah.
And in a time of, amazing superheroes and Marvel, this idea that music is going to save you is brilliant. So Matt, where the hell did that idea come from?
I would say it's kind of to do with the fact that, no matter what you're feeling, no matter what place you are in your life, there's always going to be some sort of music that can save you. It can get you out of a rut. It can get you into a rut if that's where you want to be. It can amplify an emotion, and it can make your day. You can be banging your head against the desk and work, and then a song comes on that you like, and suddenly you're bouncing away, and it just completely changes, your entire outlook on what might be going on in that particular moment in your life. So it can save the world. I mean, it's got this grandiose title it's not really what it's about. It's more about sort of, getting through the day, saving the day. It's about, just tiny little victories, because they're the most important ones, really. And it's about finding the soundtrack to get you through the hard part.
Because one of the things I like about the whole music to gig is that we're not terribly genre specific. I mean, if you want to go to an EDM list, you can find one on the internet or whatever. Yeah. Whereas if you're on your list, I mean, it ranges from kind of almost thrash to indie to EDM to hip hop. I mean, how do you know all that stuff?
I was thinking about this, and there's always it's not necessarily that I only listen to synth music. It just so happens that I find music with a lot of kind of sonic diversity is a bit, it engages me more. So even like the thrashier stuff, we've got some Enter Shikari on there, some Bring the Horizon, but even those tracks, they are the most synth heavy tracks. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's not so much that I only really listen to, I mostly listen to EDM these days, but I like the idea that someone can be a Flume fan and come and find my playlist and go, I've never heard of Enter Shikari, let's give them a whirl. And suddenly they've been introduced to an entirely different world. And I think it's the fact that I kind of come from like a rock background, I only discovered dance music very late in the game. And we've spoke about this before. It's because I like it because I can do it on my own. I'm not a team player,
So what was your first band? Because you're a musician, aren't you?
Oh, the first band I was in, or the first band I listened to.
What first band you were in?
Oh my god, going back now, I was 14 years old, playing in this band called Death of a Nation.
Death of a Nation.
Death of a Nation, yeah. We were named after an Anti-Flag song. Yeah, we were really punk rock, as punk rock as 14-year-olds can be.
Awesome.
And we played a lot of shows, around. I think the biggest one we did is we supported Vice Squad. We were big in like the 80s, I think. And I say they were big, big in that realm. I don't want to offend anybody, but they were on the cover of NME, and that's good enough for me. And then I played in a band called Hummer for years as a punk drummer. I was always a punk drummer,
You were the drummer?
I
know you were the drummer.
Yeah, I've always been the drummer. It's only very, very recently in my most recent band that I've migrated onto other instruments and stuff, but I think drums is the instrument I've always taken to, and I think that's really why I like Flume so much, because he puts a lot of emphasis on his drums, and the patterns that he ends up throwing at people are just they're incredible.
So you start in a punk band, you're playing drums, and then where do you go?
Oh god, I mean, I went heavier for a while. I was in a band for about a year or so where we were really into all of our like Bring Me the Horizon sort of stuff, and we were trying to be like metalcore, and we liked A Day to Remember, and bands like that. And
really full on double kick.
Yeah, really, really not screamy. We could never find anyone that could scream that wasn't annoying. So yeah, we would have liked it. We would have liked that. And then I just sort of softened out, and then I was in a band for a while, and we were more just like traditional rock and roll. You know what I mean? But this is where I discovered music production. So I was trying to go, that song Arizona that I sent you. That it's got like it's obviously people that don't know. It's like a very sort of space rock track. It's loads of synths in it, and it goes on this like journey and stuff like that. And that was kind of where I was going, and that's why I really got into music production, because that meant I could do that sort of stuff. And like I said, not really have to run it by the guitarist and say, does he like it? Or, whatever. Can we play it live? Can we get this to sound good in the studio? You just do it there and then.
It's fascinating to me that, if I listened to some of your tracks, and if somebody, listened to it, it would be more in that EDM synth, kind of space. And yet, deep down inside, you're a hardcore punk drummer. And
I'd say, that part of me is kind of like your appendix.
That's where you came from. And the idea that we are all just this one genre, like I am EDM and that is all I listen to, and everything else is shit, is one of the things that I think Musicto has a real opportunity to break down those silos. And a list like yours that has the narrative. I mean, if you don't know Matt's new list, go and check it out, because every week he writes from the perspective of the hero. Like some of the earlier tracks is like, heroes don't get to win every time. and the song is bloody perfect for it. I mean, where did that come from?
Honestly, I think I just really like The Incredibles. I've not even watched it for years, but I find myself just referencing it every fucking week. Just like, I guess it was some other huge impact on me, but it's that Edna Mode. I think she's a brilliant character. She reminds me of someone, but I can't say it. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a way to kind of write in an inspirational way without being too kind of preachy, or too sort of self-helpy.
Right, it removes it to this kind of third-party thing that you can laugh with, or even laugh at if you want to. But you can also draw a bit of truth from it as well. I do.
Yeah, I think the whole point is to make it just a bit obscure, a bit kind of, a bit sort of super normal, or whatever. You know what? You know, just take it a bit away from reality to make it so that what I'm saying isn't too, you know, like an inspirational quote that your grandma shares, sort of thing, and it's a bit more.
Because let's go down that road a wee bit. Because one of the things that when you came into the project, when you came to Musicto, there's the Viveellipsis, so there's the Ellipsis project, and you'd written this book.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the book and what that was about.
I mean, the book is essentially it's a collection of just rambling thoughts that I was having on my morning commute. You know, it's like an hour-long drive sometimes, and you know, I'd just get locked into these internal monologues where I'd just be like thinking about, you know, different things that I was worried about. You know, like, you know, the night before I'd been working on a song and I just couldn't get it right, or whatever it was, and I don't know. It got to the point where it was like annoying me that it was constantly there, so I had to write it down. And when I started writing it, and at first the whole point was to just get it out of my nut. You know what I mean? Just get out. And then because I didn't even care about, you know, like, because I tried to write a novel the year before, and I got so bogged down in all the formatting and all the, you got to use an indent here, and if you don't hyphenate there, then you're a wanker, and just ridiculous. I suppose there's a reason, but I couldn't. It really put me off the whole thing. So I just sat down and wrote this thing, thinking I don't really care if it's not paragraphed properly. I don't care if you're not supposed to use a semicolon there. And then I just took that approach, and as I started writing, I go, I actually think this is pretty good. And I started doing the artwork for it, and then I started thinking, well, I don't care if the line spacing's a little bit off on the font, or if I've not properly done a layout. And then I started applying it to everything, and I just started realizing and developing this mantra that things don't have to be perfect to be worthwhile. You know, that you can do a really good job, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, because, I mean, again, I talk about how perfect's not really a thing, but no one really cares about perfect. And this kind of leads me in, because I think you and Julia had a really good conversation last week about sort of production value. And the sort of idea that, you know, a song, and this is kind of what you were trying to hit at, really, that a song doesn't have to be pristine and perfect to connect with someone, which is the most important thing a song can do. And it, you know, it goes to that, you know, that Porter Robinson quote that I love so much, that, you know, he cares about good ideas, and if something might be technically flawed, but if it's got, you know, if it's got heart, and if it's got, you know, you can tell there's some thought and some passion behind it, that's what's most important about a piece of music.
Yeah, it makes me think of, I mean, there's a couple of ideas here, isn't there? There's the idea of perfection, and perfectionism is a killer. But there's this, I want to bring it more into the whole Musicto curator thing, because here's the reality. If you're a Musicto curator, you're getting tracks sent to you. Yeah. And the reality is that a lot of them aren't great. And there are lots of reasons for that. But tying back to this perfectionist thing, back in the day, it used to cost a lot of money to record a track and to master it and to produce the vinyl or the CDs and ship it to the store and then do the marketing and all the human beings. So to take your track to market cost a fortune. It was the same in the book industry as well. So you had to make it perfect when it was there. Yeah. But we now live in a time where the cost to market is negligible, is tiny.
I mean, it cost me $4 in my book, you know.
Right. But so you're everywhere, and yet, you know, how do we as curators, you know, make this easy? Because at the end of the day, we sit as that, not gatekeeper is a horrible expression, but if you're the woman in the street looking to, I want to listen to good music, who are you going to go to? And you may not trust Spotify anymore, and Pandora's freaking lame. And so why not go to a killer Musicto curator? what is the role that we're playing when you're being submitted so much lame music, but the lame music might eventually get good? That's the thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I get a lot of submissions, and some of them annoy me really, because I feel like they've not understood the point of the. I feel like they've not listened to anything on the playlist or read anything about it. And for me, if you're going to submit a track to me, I want to hear you tell the story about your track. I don't want to hear that X blog thinks it's mint and this and that, or where I want to hear what your story is. So I get songs that are fucking pristine,
Right.
and I don't want to know because there's no. I'd prefer a story. When I listen to a piece of music, and this is something that every single track on my playlist has in common with the other tracks, is that when I hear it, I see a place. I can, with that Beyonce track, Haunted, I feel like I'm in like a desert, you know what I mean? And it's there. Every single song is a soundscape. It's a musical picture that's being painted. And every track that gets put on my playlist has given me an image of a place. There's a great one that a guy called Stefan Nixdorf sent me. And I can't remember what it's called now.
But it was
Mirage. It's called Mirage. It's brilliant. And it's got this shot, and I feel like I'm running across the savannah. Do you know what I mean? It's just powerful, and it's telling a story. Even if it's unintentional, do you know what I mean? I don't know what they were thinking when they were making it, but I'm hearing something and I'm seeing a place. Why do they have to be a place? But I'm getting driven, to something.
There's a connection with the track. I mean, I think I read something with Damon Albarn. It was saying, at the end of the day, the minute the lyrics are written, or it might have been Tom York or whatever, and it goes out into the world, they're not yours anymore. It doesn't matter what the writer meant, It's how you experience it. But there's that. You're right. The conversation with Julie, is it production values? Is it the lyric? I don't know. It's that just weird thing that you can track.
There's a point in the middle somewhere. I mean, obviously, it's got to have, production value. It can't be a piece of shit that you're recording on the phone, and it's got to be some line. But I mean, it's like the point when you was like, is someone going to care if this is a synth violin? Or if it's the London Philharmonic Orchestra, does it sound good? Does it? I mean, and the thing I was thinking as well, I think like a lot of people. So say you take a snare drum, right? And this is that whole producer porn thing that Porter Robinson goes on about. And it's like, right, okay, so some people get really kind of hard over a snare. It's like, this snare is compressed perfectly. The average listener's not going, fuck me, that snare is good. But on the same token, they'll be able to say on some like unconscious level, there's something wrong with this song. I don't know what it is, but something sounds off. They'll have a perception of that. They won't be
right. Totally agree with that. I think it is. I mean, Julie and I touched on it. It's like, well, you have to train your ear to hear it. But once you've trained, oops. And we just lost Matt for a second, but he's coming back because I think he's into the... Yeah, and we're back. We lost you.
That was scary, man. I thought I'd gone into the abyss. Felt alone.
No, but there's that... There is this thing about being a musician. I mean, again, people like Matt, people like myself, we've made different choices from a lot of people, and you spend a crap load of time listening to music, and you do eventually, learn certain things. But what I'm personally so wary about, and it goes back to exactly what you're talking about, I was chatting with a producer, engineer, and we were talking about one of the biggest albums of the 90s, Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. That's an amazing piece of music, and he was just like dissing it because, oh God, well, they really screwed up the drum compression on that album. I'm like, really? Because the rest of the planet didn't think so.
Well, it's this whole thing. It's like, what makes a successful album or track? Is it the ones that people talk about for, you know, for years to come. Like, what is it? There's the fact that a piece of music remains memorable years after it's been, you know, released. Is that what makes it, you know, like the fucking Beatles? You know what I mean? Or
is that marketing or is that the track? Because look, I mean, back in the day, you had to get, you know, you paid the program directors on radio, however much, you know, hookers and blow, whatever. You got on, you know, the playlist, and then you were in heavy rotation. The public listened to the track 7 to 9 times. It was in, and bam, you've got a hit. Or was the track just bloody great? I mean, this is the problem we have now, because nobody's listening to the tracks more than 2 or 3 times before they're off onto the next one.
Well, that's the problem, because, you know, like, we're in this, like, I mean, I was having this conversation with the guy that I work with. We've entered into this bizarre, like, world of there's just so much choice, and it gets to the point where you are immobilized by how much there is on offer. Like, I go to the shop, and I'm trying to buy a sandwich, and I'm like, there's 90 different types of sandwich. I'm going to get it wrong. You know what I mean? So you basically just reach for the chicken sandwich that you know you like, and then, you know, and like, choice is great, but this is what the problem we've got is on Spotify at the moment. This is why we need curators who understand the person's particular needs for music. So, you know, someone will resonate with what I've got to say, and I'll find them some songs they're gonna like.
I think you're almost right.
Almost right. That's
almost right. I mean, not that I'm going to pick out the bit that you're wrong, but I'm just going to. You're right. I think what the curators are, and this is really my vision for Musicto, is it's not about understanding what your listeners' needs are.
Yeah.
Not because you can't fucking do that, because there's one too many of them. No. It's about being completely authentic.
Yes.
You know, being that human being that if you're a Musicto curator, you listen to more music than the average person in the street. You just do. Otherwise, you wouldn't do this out of love. You wouldn't show up and do it. So it's being authentic. And then when the people see you and they go, oh, shit, he shows up every week and he's got this track and there's a string. They fall in love with you. And that's what we don't have. We live in this soulless world where we touch the screen and there's no... And the music's getting homogenous. It's sounding the fucking same.
And I mean, I think it's kind of... I suppose it's cute when Spotify's there like, oh, here's 10 songs that we think you might like. And I'm like, you don't know me, Spotify, because I don't like that and I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like... I don't want to be, like we were saying, like, the role as a curator, I don't want to be sat there going, oh, what are people going to like this week? I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? And this is, like, in my playlist, it's like, I could possibly be alienating people by, you know, like this week, I've not uploaded my track this week, have I?
Not sure. You went hip-hop this week.
But, you know, there might be people that go, oh, God, I don't like hip-hop, I'm never coming back to him again, and that's fair enough, do you know what I mean? But every week I'm uploading a track that I love, you know.
Right. So let's dive into that a little bit, because that to me is at the core of this whole project.
Yeah.
Because if you are the kind of individual who, you know, is flitting from one person to the other, one curator to another, just waiting to be pleased the whole time, you're never going to be satisfied, are you?
No.
But if you find, you know, a few human beings who are always there. I mean, that's the whole point. They do show up. There is a new track. There is a reason. And even if they pissed you off one week and you left them, but you're like, oh, fuck it. You know, 4 weeks' time you come back, they're there with another track. So you develop trust. You develop that relationship. That hasn't been around for years.
Again, and this is the thing, like we said, it's like Spotify is trying to, you know, it's admirably trying to do it, but it doesn't work automated. It's not the kind of thing you can automate. You know, you need that person there that it's just nice knowing that your suggestion, you know, this track or this, you know, this thing that's being presented to you 1 week is actually come from another person who's, you know, listened to it, felt something, written about it, and now you get to listen to it, and that's the nice thing, really, that we're providing, because we're given the human element that, like we said, is just missing these days. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like going back to the sandwich analogy, it's like going down to the sandwich shop and being friends with your sandwich artist, as I think they're called, and it's like, yo, Johnny, this week I've got a great sandwich for you. You love bologna? Well, try this.
I love that.
Like, I know you don't like pickles, but just try it on this. See what happens. I don't know why he's from Boston.
I love that. I've now got a playlist, music to bake sandwiches. I can even see the playlist visual. But it is totally that, isn't it? And there's no... Sorry, go.
It's just being friends with the person who's,
Yeah, but you will have to develop trust in the sandwich dude.
Yeah.
Even if they serve you like some really bizarre tasting shit, you've got to hope that it's really good quality shit. So even if that's not your personal palate, at least it was executed. At least you can appreciate it for what it was. So,
yo, Tony, Hamon Jam, I'm not quite sure this is going to take off, but I trust you, boy. I trust you.
But then Hamon Jam, and you go, fuck me. I never knew.
I'd like this. And that's like me with Beyonce, There's something like Beyonce.
But it's you with Flume, and Matt is a big Flume fan, just putting it out.
It's getting a bit worrying. I hope I never meet him, because I might pass out.
Well, somebody said you should never meet your heroes, and I'm kind of a fan of that. I mean, I live in LA, and I occasionally want. I've never met anybody. I've been there best part of 20 years, and I'm kind of super cool with that, because what do you say? I mean, you say, well, I think my rehearsed thing is like, thanks, man, I really dig your shit, and then I go and leave them alone.
Yeah. You want to keep the mystery alive. You don't want to know that you like pick the nose and they don't shower on.
That's the thing. We don't even pick the nose and they fart and they kind of bitch off, whatever.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, sorry. We're apart from us because we're perfect. All right, we're going to wrap in a few minutes. So, I love this. I love that we get to do this, and I get to chat with some amazing people who love music as much as I do. Yeah. So, and I finished with. I don't know if I'm going to go forward with this question, but I kind of liked it with Julia, so I'm going to ask you the same. So this now exists in space and time, and we will download this. It becomes a YouTube video. It's on Facebook. It will be posted on Musicto and whatever. And now just project forward, and you continue doing this. And the reality is that if you continue showing up and you grow your audience and you are authentic and you tell your story and people choose to look to you for music, in a couple of years' time, you may have 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers across your different channels. And at that point, your life is different. Your life has changed. You're living through music. So if you come back and you look at this video, in 2 or 3 years' time, this is your, how would you like to finish it? What would you like to, what would you tell yourself, or what would you tell people now?
Well, the future. Scary place. I wonder if we've got robot legs yet. I hope you're still doing music. I hope you've not given up doing music. I suppose it's just kind of like, here's something I want to tell myself. And that's what I'm doing in it. I'm talking to 2 year 20. How old will I be? 28-year-old Matt Hughes. I just want to say, like, whatever you're worrying about now, remember that you're probably not worrying about. Hang on, how do I phrase this? Whatever you're worrying about now, don't worry about it, because the thing I'm worried about now, you don't remember anymore. Yeah, I don't even get it. Whatever.
No, it's totally. That is the truth.
Just don't worry about stuff, because in 2 years' time, you're not going to care.
Don't worry about shit. Don't worry. What was it? Bono had his interview in the Rolling Stone, and they asked him, "What would you tell your younger self?" And he's like, "You're right."
Just don't worry about it. You've probably forgotten the thing. I mean, I can't even remember it now. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, just leave Flume alone. If you don't like jump through his window or anything, don't be weird. Keep doing music. You're getting better. And from a production point, like keep going basically. Because I listened to stuff I was doing 6 months ago, and I can't believe I'm the same producer because I listened to that and go, wow, that's like an 8-year-old did it on a, and now it's and that's encouraging. I like looking back and going. So that's another thing, in 2 years' time, come back and have a listen to the stuff you're producing around now and see how much you've improved. So,
oh, I like that one. I think we'll close on that one. 2 years time, Matt.
Yeah.
Come back and listen to the early shit because it's bloody good.
So it's right.
Matt, it's been awesome. Thank you for your time.
Always, mate.
I will see you on the flip side. Everybody, take care. This will be posted around.